But like, I'm also curious how, like, what you think he represents in context to or in a relationship to Zaina and her journey. Like, what does he represent for her? Because to me, like, I think, because we spoke about it before, this like expectation of vulnerability, like as an artist, like as an artist, you're expected to be vulnerable, but it's not easy. It's difficult. It's difficult to show really tender parts of yourself, you know. And I'm curious, and I guess to me, Unsaved Number represents this idea of like an expectation of vulnerability. He like, yo, when you gonna send this number? And he low-key putting pressure on her, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm curious, like, what to y'all, what does he represent for?
So I have to process, think, but like originally Unsaved Number was a prop only because like we didn't know what he looked like, right? And so as it transitioned, and as far as like expectation of vulnerability, like from a dating perspective, like, you know, there's different levels of dating, but like at some point, if it continues, you have to be vulnerable, whether that be, you know, whether intimacy, sharing your feelings, thoughts, and things of that nature. And so like, it's kind of a progression of like, if there is no level of vulnerability, like low key, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And not particularly in the sexting concept or sex in specifically, but like interacting with somebody, dating somebody, talking to somebody, building a friendship with somebody, being an artist and putting yourself out there. Like at some point, you have to show more, right? Or like, are you only gonna show, like, are we just gonna stay here, right? Like, we just gonna be texting, you know what I'm saying? And so like, there is an expectation of vulnerability, but I think there's a timing associated with it too, right? And so like, you know, we don't go into super context about like how long they knew each other and this is that, like, but I think that plays into the expectation, but like to Unsaved Number point, it's like, you know, you left me hanging last time, like what we doing? You know what I'm saying? And so like from a Zaina perspective and just from like a artist perspective, like at some point you gotta put it out there and figure out what this is.
When I think about Unsaved Number, I see like a duality, right? What he represents to Zaina's character is like you said, like the expectation of like, okay, well, when are you gonna send me this? What are you gonna present? Like how basically that pressure, you know? And then on the flip side of it, what does he represent, you know, in the sense of like, how does he navigate the same situation in the sense of like, I think we had conversations about like, where we did want to understand and see who this guy was so he wouldn't be like the mysterious stranger danger. But like also too, what is he going through? Okay, he got these other males there and they're like, oh, you talking to hoes, you know what I mean? Like, what is his expectation when he's trying to navigate relationships? Because I think there's a whole nother conversation that can be had about when a guy likes a girl and how other guys react to it. Oh, you simping, you over there caking, you this, that, and the other. And so like, he wants to converse with this lady. He's texting her, right? He's texting Zaina. But then he also has the friends here. And they have certain expectations. When we're boys, we hanging out. Like, what does that look like? And so I think he's also navigating the expectation of, you know, this versus that. How do I show up in these spaces? All right, y'all got to get out because I'm dealing with this.
This is more important.
Right. And so, like, with that, you know, I thought there was a nice tension there for him. And then, you know, it kind of, you know, how can I, now that I've gotten rid of this pressure from the guys, like how can I get back to interacting with this woman? And, you know, I'm joking, I'm playing, but I still want her to know that, you know, I like you, you know? And so I think there was a lot to play with when it comes to like how he shows up and presents on screen.